Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good Thursday evening to you all watching this on World Online Racing second channel, and welcome to WOR Season 13, Tier 11, race number 3 on the newest track on F1 calendar, the Miami Grand Prix. Today we are gonna have a 18-minute qualifying and the actual race, the feature race, if you want to call it. So yeah, it's your commentator, Matchmaster, for tonight. Originally I was supposed to commentate Tier 12, but for some reasons that I'm not sure if I can disclose them, I have been moved to Tier 11 instead, so yeah. As we have a short 18-minute qualifying going underway, let me just put up my spectator menu assets while we are at it. I believe one of those three drivers between Zirconium, Mender and Kirito are on their laps. I believe Zirconium is the first one to try and set the lap here. Yeah, that's much better. As you can see, Zirconium, who I believe is the current championship leader in the drivers' standings in Tier 11, is gonna be the first person to set the lap time on this session. As we saw him set 30.6, I believe, on the first sector. It's tough to say if that's gonna be representative first sector time. Time will tell. As he just crosses the second sector line and he sets 1 minute 2 seconds point 8, I believe. I might be wrong. Feel free to correct me in the chat if you are watching this. But yeah, Zirconium approaching the final 2 twists right there, about to cross the line, and that is 1:28.258 as the first time on the sheets. Who else on the lap? There was Rogue Mender, but that was not a representative time from him, and I believe he might try again, although the battery is not quite there for him to do so, as Tom Cox 2002 has set a 1:28.597 as there is a collision between Haas and Alpine, and Tom Cox 2002 receives 5 place grid penalty for collision with Kirito as a result. Anyway, moving on, WR Andrew F1 has set second best time so far in the session with 1:28.486. Mr. Frosty has gone to P4 with 1:28.7, followed by Zoe Corrigan in the AlphaTauri Z Zirconium teammate. He set a 1:28.892. Gunners with 1:29.319 as Jackmaster Plus has crossed the finish line to snatch that 6th position away from Gunners, and Rogue Menderer is, I believe, on another pushback. We will stay on board with him, see how he does through the final 3 turns. He approaches this sharp left-hander on the second gear. Smoothly. Keeps it steady on the throttle. Hugs the right hand curb, and he sets 1:30.932, which is 1.6 seconds behind the time of Gunners in P7. I believe Kirito is running to bits and Jack is about to finish his lap in the Red Bull. And what time is he gonna bring? It's gonna be 1:28.514, which will be good enough for P3. Good stuff from the driver in the Red Bull. Let's see if anybody said in their lives, but I don't think that's the case yet. I believe Sky Scott is gonna start his first attempt at a flying lap. As you see, going through one of the twisty sections of this track. Virtually another one. A lot of twists and turns in this track for sure in Miami Gardens, as Sky Scott's just got validated. Yeah, on his first attempt, he's going back out because actually keep the tire temperatures cool for himself. As we see right now, Sky Scott's gonna try and make a second attempt at setting a quality time around this unorthodox track in Miami, Florida. As we have 5 more people on their outlaps currently, but we are gonna watch Sky Scott try to get this right this time. Within the track limits. Keeps it quite tidy within the first few corners as he approach those sweeping left, right, left corners. You have to be very careful on the throttle on those sections. You lose the throttle quite easily through that part of the track as he sets 30.7 on the first sector as he approaches the DRS, opens the DRS, go through this complicated section in this sector. Sharp left-hander followed by long sweeping right-hander right there. Keeps it in the second gear. Turns left. Zigzag there. Keeps it on the first gear. As in approaching another sharp left-hander on the second gear. He sets 1 minute 3 seconds on after 2 sectors. We have a yellow flag in sectors 1 and 3, but I believe this is just cars letting through the guys behind them. As Sky Scott went completely wide on this sharp left-hander, third to last corner as he crosses the line and takes P9 at the moment with 129.3. Who DRS Rossi, I believe, has finished his lap and set P6 at the moment with 128.822. Is actually close to finishing the laps. Kirito is closest, but he invalidated his attempt on his attempts. Pit in the field, purple through the second sector with 1 minute 2.9 seconds after the 2 sectors. Pit in the field, who joined Tier 11 last week, has won the race in Bahrain. He is probably going to try and do this thing in Miami as well, as he sets the provisional pole time with 127.914. Great job by the Alpine driver. Pit in the field. As we are going to switch to Oceanic Cloth in the McLaren. 1 minute 3.3 seconds after the 2 sectors. Opens the DRS through this, I believe, 3rd straight. We are counting from start finish line. Tough to say though. But yeah, as we have a retirement that is, I believe, Zirconium retiring from the session. Something happened to Zirconium there, but I'm not quite sure what exactly, as this is the way the focus on Oceanic Cloth, who set the 7th best time so far with actually P8, because Pit in the Field's teammate Tom Cox 2002 has set 128 flat, take P2. from Zirconia. As I'm trying to see who are gonna finish their laps. Rogue Mender in the Haas is about to finish his lap on his third attempt and does 129.479 as we saw Waterade just joining us this evening. 15th different driver to participate in this session. Cox is on his in lap, I believe. WOR and the same thing. Jap Master Flash seems like he is on the bush lap. Just going through the twisty part of the second sector. Goes fourth gear, but kinda looks like he is backing off a bit. Yeah, could be just that, but tough to say. As we see Jack trying to set a better time that he already has with 128.5. Seems like he's a little bit far away from improving, but yeah, he is gonna go to the pits anyway. Doesn't want to waste the tires on this car. Right, let's check the Gunners. 27, how he does in the Aston Martin car. He goes through that twisted first sector and he loses the rear right there. It's easy to lose the rear on that section of the track. Oh, believe me when I say this, it is quite difficult to be patient on the throttle on that part of the track, as not many people at the moment are on the track. I mean, there is Sky Scots, Waterade, who is, we might just keep an eye for to see how good of a lap time he's going to get in this session. As I drop my phone, my apologies. Clumsy me. Let me also get to the chat. Okay. But yeah, anyway, let's see Waterade's progress. Keeps it quite tight on the apexes on the first three corners. Hugs the outside wall now. Approach this twisty, difficult section to get right. Waterade keeps it within track limits. Hugs the apex quite well through this corner. 30.7 on 8 through the first sector as he approaching the DRS line. DRS opened, about to approach the twisty section in the second sector. First off the sharp left-hander, then the long and tight right-hander, followed by a small left-hander. Goes third gear, approaches this corner, but unfortunately cuts it a bit too much and therefore invalidates this lap to preserve a little bit of energy to start from the scratch. As we see Sky Scott's improving 2/10 on his personal best after the two sectors. We'll see if this will help him get at least one more position higher than he would like. He could potentially jump ahead of Gunners. That is depending how he is going to get this section right, and he does snatch away P12 from Gunners with 128.897 on his, I believe, third attempt. And as RSF1 Q2, I believe, P11 with 128.849. It is quite tight at the moment between from, at least from WOR Andrew in P4 to Guy Scott's in P13 with 0.4 of a difference, as Oceanic Lot improved to set P3 with 128 flat, missed out by 12 thousandths of a second to Tom Cox 2002 in the Alpine. So yeah, as the things stand at the moment, it is Alpine 1-2 at the moment, as we have 50 seconds left in this session. A lot of cars are gonna now try set their last, hopefully better laps to get as high of a position as they can. Waterred is finishing his lap, and it's 1:29.114, which puts him in P14, and I don't believe he's going to have nor battery nor fuel to set another lap, so that's going to be it for Waterred, and this qualifying session is going to start at least 14. But anyway, as 5, 4, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and the session has closed as we see the Mercedes finishing. That is Jackmaster Flash, and he sets P6 in the end. I believe it's Jackmaster Flash, yes it is. Next up is McLaren of Oceanic Cloud, who goes into the pits, followed by 2 Ferraris of WR, Andrew in front, and behind him CRS Rossi. Andrew going through that long right hander, and he stays P7. CRS Rossi goes P4 with 128 flat, misses out by 25 thousandths of a second. Next up, approaching the start finish line, is RSF on Kirito, but he invalidated his lap. I believe Alpine of Tom Cox 2002 is going to try and snatch that pole position away from pit in the field, and he's going to do it, not quite, as he misses out by 48 thousandths of a second to pit in the field, and it looks like pit in the field might just keep this pole position to himself as he invalidated on his last attempt. Jack is not quite there in terms of setting a better lap time. Gunners as well, and Soviet Corgan as well, as he invalidated his lap. But yeah, this is going to be pit in the field with the pole position for the Miami race. First ever Miami race in WOR history. With Tom Cox making it Alpine 1-2 at the start of the race. Superb job by these two drivers, but especially pit in the field, who managed to get a much quicker time. As yeah, there's your qualifying order. Pit in the field, P1 with 127.914, followed by Tom Cox, who is P2, but he's going to drop 5 places down because of the penalty, because of a collision with RSF on Kirito at the very beginning of the session. Oceanic Lot is going to be P2, Rossi P3, Circonin P4, P5 to Kirito, Jackmaster Flash P6, WR Andrew P8, Jack P9, Frosty, Gunners, Soviet Corrigan, Sky Scots, Waterray P14, and Rogue Mender, the hometown driver, is going to start from the last position on the grid in the Haas. As I believe, if the sources are true, that we're going to have a wet race in Miami tonight. I guess we are about to find out after the loading screen disappears from our feed. So, yeah. As we are just waiting for the session to start. And it doesn't look like it's going to be raining. It might rain during the session, but at least the start is going to be on dry conditions. Therefore, yeah, it's most likely going to be mixed conditions if my sources are true. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting race for sure. As we still have that race director glitch. But as things stand, I believe 2 out of 15 drivers are going to start on mediums, which are both Scottish Supernovas, WOR Andrew F1 and Jack 123344. The rest of the grid is going to start on the medium tire. Let me see if there's going to be a formation lap. They should have had fixed that formation lap glitch. No, it's going to be a start, and the wheels are spinning in the Miami Gardens. As CRS Rossi has drive-through penalty for jumping the start, but he's taking the lead. Pit in the field. He's P2, effective race leader at this point because of a Rossi's penalty. Oceanic Cloud has P3, Zirconium P4, Kirito P5, who is squabbling with Jet. No, actually it's Kirito with Zirconiums, as Kirito messes up there a little bit and loses positions quite badly. Drops to P7 for now. There is Mr. Frosty. No, and there's a spin for Kirito. There's a spin for Kirito, and he drops to almost to the very back of the grid as a result. But at the moment, Rossi is in the lead, but he has to serve the drive-through penalty within the next 3 laps, which is very unfortunate timing that he got out the start. But effectively, the race leader is at the moment Pit in the field, followed by Oceanic, Zirconium, Jack, Frosty, who is very close to Jack in the Red Bull. Wateray got a lot of positions, 7 positions in the first lap from the driver from Jamaica. And Tomcox dropped a lot of positions. Actually, no, he actually got a grip penalty, my bad. But he's going to try and take that position away from Waterade on this straight. He takes the outside line. Waterade got the inside. Who's going to outbrake who? It looks like Waterade's going to keep the position from Tomcox for now. Will he be able to do the switchback? Not quite, but he's on the outside, but not quite there to get it, as we see Rossi serve his drive-through penalty straight away. No hesitation. And Pit in the field inherits the lead from Rossi. As the things are quite tight at the moment in the Tier 11 race in Miami at the moment. Let me just get the tires, telemetry, lap data, maybe not, but yeah, just that. But yeah, as we see Mr. Frosty, I believe, dropping positions to likes of at least Roguemander and Gunners. Dropping to P10 as a result. Actually switched to softs at the last minute, so yeah. Mr. Frosty on the softs, Jack and Andrew on the mediums, and the rest of the field are on the hard compound tires. That is presumably for just in case if there's going to be a rain mid-race. As Pit in the field is quite, I mean, he is quite comfortably ahead of Oceanic Cloth, but Oceanic Cloth is using his battery to get closer to him. Zirconium is quite close to Oceanic Cloth as well. It looks pretty tight at the moment for the top 3 in the top 3 positions as things stand. Jack is also quite there, quite close to the contending for the podium position, as followed by Waterick, who I believe overtook both Andrew and Tomcox. No, actually Andrew was the only one who got overtaken, as Sky Scots went into the pits but received a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is unfortunate for Sky Scots right there, who I believe has damage and has to switch to medium compound tires. As we are approaching the first DRS straight. DRS is going to be enabled in this lap. It's lap 3. Who's the closest at the moment? It looks like Jack and Oceanic Cloth are equally close to their cars ahead. Oceanic Cloud is going to make a move, not quite. He's going to be patient there, as Zirconium and Jack are following them as well. Yeah, so far 3 laps, top 4, very tight gaps at the moment between these 2 drivers. as Oceanic Cloth now gonna have the DRS on this part of the track. Not using quite his battery. He is gaining a little bit, but will he gain enough to make a move on the inside? Not quite. Too far from taking the leadership in this race. He loses a bit of a time in the field, who got better traction after that sharp left-hander. Jack set the fastest time of this race with 1:31.860. On the guy on the medium compound tires on the Bitch Championship front runners at the moment in the drivers. 12:33.44. Anything else? Water rate is dropped 4.3 seconds to the back of the grid to the top 4. Tomcox is quite close, so is WOR, Andrew, and Gunners. As we have Rogmender retiring from this session, as I believe he has crashed on the twisty left section, as we are going to have a safety car as of a result. Can't speak English. But yeah, this is a safety car situation indeed. Is anyone gonna switch to this fresh tires? Doesn't look like it. Everyone seems to be on a fresh set of tires, I believe. Rusty seems the likeliest person to jump into the pits, but he might stick this one out if he chooses to. But again, this is completely up to him to do so. As yeah. Let me just check how many positions were gained after 4 laps of this race. So pit in the field, no changes in position, so did Oceanic Cloth. Zirconium gained a place. Jack got 5 places up. Watery got 9 places up, followed by Tomcox, who got a position. WR Andrew got a position. 3 positions for Gunners, as Jackmaster Flash got 3 places down. As we have 3 people going into the pits. That is Kirito, Mr. Frosty, who was the only soft runner at the start. He switched to medium compound tires. So did Kirito and CRS Rossi. They're going to be at the very back of the grid as a result of that. Hopefully to get ahead of the people on the used sets of hearts and the current medium users. Andrew and Jack. But yeah, continuing. So Corrigan gained 2 places, but that purely because of the pit stops from Frost and Kirito. Frosty dropped 1 place, Kirito dropped 7. He had a rocky start. Sky Scott's P13, no changes in positions, my bad. And CRS Rossi 46 in the dead last position at the moment, with 11 places loss. The only penalty at the moment we have is a 5-second penalty for Sky Scott, who sped in the pit lane and got 5 seconds as a result of that misjudgment. But yeah, a safety car, I believe, will be going around for at least 1 more lap. Should be an interesting situation with the people who are on the fresher set of mediums, although there isn't much of a difference in terms of tire wear, but in comparison to the likes of Jack and Andrew and Frosty, Kirito and CRS Rossi, but that definitely adds a bit of an intrigue to this race in terms of if they're going to benefit from potential rain pit stop. They won't need to switch to either intermediates or wets, depending on how strong the rain is going to be in the session. That is, if we are going to see rain in the session. I heard from one of the drivers in the Discord chat that there's there's gonna be a red race, but we have yet to wait and see for that one, as we see this beautiful site of the Miami Gardens, I believe, and the Miami Dolphins Stadium in the background. Pretty good looking site, I must tell you. But yeah, we are currently on lap 6 at the moment. But in the field at the moment, it looks like he might get the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship after this race, if he stays in the lead till the end for 23 laps. But that's only a theory, not a guarantee. So, as we receive a message from race control that safety car is going to be in this laps, therefore the race will restart on lap 7. As we see a lot of cars weaving around, getting the temperatures onto their tires. In the field, pit in the field, controlling the field, punching everyone up. And he, I believe, is gonna go right now. Yes, he is. As we WOR Season 13, Tier 11, Race number 3, Miami Grand Prix has been restarted. As we see Sovi Corrigan, he has a wing damage. He has a wing damage on the start of a restart, and it's gonna compromise him badly. This is gonna compromise him badly. A massive shame from Sovi Corrigan in the AlphaTauri right there, as Pittenfield so far controls the controls the field, as Cloth, Zirconium, Jack, Waterade, who is in danger to losing P5 to Tom Cox 2002, who's very close to his rear. Which way is he gonna go? The outside is quite free for him to go, but he chooses not to do it. He might do a switchback, yeah, and he does so, takes the outside line. Water is quite tight on the inside, and Tom Cox is going to pull off this overtake for P5. Very good job by Tom Cox right there. Very good overtake from him. Capitalized on Waterade's mistake and therefore relegates him to P6 as a result. But yeah, the top 4 is very, very tight. Alpine, McLaren, AlphaTauri, and Red Bull drivers of Pittenfield, Oceanic Cloth, Zirconium, and Jack, respectively, fighting for those crucial positions in this race and even in the championship. As Jack, I believe, is very close to Zirconium, but doesn't go for a move on this first corner. Not yet anyway, as WR, Andrew and Waterade are side by side through turn 4. Andrew on the outside, Waterade now on the outside, Andrew on the inside. Is Andrew gonna outbreak him? Yes, he does, but Waterade still alongside him, not quite. Andrew goes a bit wide, Waterade goes outside of track, but Andrew is gonna keep the position and relegate Waterade to P7 as a result, as there is a 6-car train with WR, Andrew, F1 following his filling the locomotive role, I guess. That's what you want to call it. But it looks like Water is going to use his battery and try to fight it. He's going to take the inside line. And he goes very wide. Andrew's going to take the position back as a result of his mistake. Gunners is quite close to Water to take the 7th position, but not quite there to execute the move. As Mr. Frosty and Kuita already are on P9 and 10 with those pressure medium compounds. Good stuff. Tom Cox is closing in on the front train of Pit in the Field, serving as a lead locomotive. And Tom Cox to make a 5-car train as a result. DRS enabled on this lap, on a lap 9. This is going to be difficult for likes of Zirconium, Jack and Tom Cox to follow. Although Jack is quite close to Zirconium on those medium tires, although I would believe the mediums would start to lose their performance a bit. I mean, mediums are slightly more durable than the mediums as far as I can tell. From my experience anyway. But yeah. But anyway, Oceanic Cloth, 2.5 tenths behind, pit in the field. Is he gonna attempt a move on the inside? He's too far away to do so. Could have risked it, but decides otherwise. He decided to play the patient game there. But yeah, Oceanic Cloud has the best chance to possibly get a position unless somebody in that top 5 is gonna do something. As Waterade, I believe, has made a mistake yet again in the second sector. Might have been a contact, might have been a self-inflicted spin, but not sure. Haven't seen it because of a inside situation we're having at the lead, at the front running section of the drivers. If that makes sense. But anyway, Oceanic Cloth still behind, pit in the field, within 5 tenths of a second at the moment from the Alpine in P1. That is also quite close to Zirconium in P3. Tom Cox is also on the hunt for a better position, although the DRS training will not help him, because Sky Scott has taken P10 from Jackmaster Flash. As CRS Rossi and Waterade are going to go to the pits, Rossi is on softs and Waterade is on fresh set of mediums. Oceanic Cloth had DRS on pit in the field, but still not close enough to attempt an overtake on the reserve, Tier 1 reserve driver pit in the field. He's going to get the DRS there, although pit in the field had a little bit of a better traction. Yes, he actually has better traction there. As he pulled away 2 tenths on that corner exit, therefore keeping his position safe for now, although it is still quite tight between the drivers in the top 5. A lot of intrigue at the moment in the front. Will pit in the field withstand this pressure and essentially win this race? Time will tell, of course. As we see weather getting a bit cloudy, a lot of clouds in the sky, therefore could signal a potential drips of rain in the next coming laps, depending in how many minutes is it going to come, as Oceanic Cloth doesn't actually have battery to an overtake in the field, who has actually 44% at the moment. Therefore, at the moment, as you can see, Pinnacle has a bit of an advantage based on the fact he has at least 50% more battery than Oceanic Cloth at the moment. But Oceanic Cloth is quite close to him. Pinnacle did have a bit of a slide on the rear, but I don't think it's going to bother him too much unless Oceanic Cloth will somehow manage to position off of him. But doesn't look like to be the case on this lap, as the I believe has dropped outside of the DRS from Jack. Yes, it is, and there you go. This train is now become 4. What do you call it in English? I'm very sorry if I'm... What do you call the parents? I guess the parents. 4 parents. 4 cars. 4 cars. Anyway. But yeah, in the field so far so good for him in terms of keeping the position from Oceanic Clock. As CRS Rossi sets 131.4 to set the fastest lap of this race so far, as RSF1 Kirito is the first person to get the 3-second penalty for track limit violations, as he is I believe 2 seconds ahead of Gunners. Therefore, at the moment looking like he might finish in P9 as a result as things stand. As we have a yellow flag in Sector 1, it is Waterade again, who is having a rough session tonight. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I saw a bit of a trip of rain. I started. Right? Yes, it is. There is rain coming at the moment. There is a trips of rain coming on this track. We'll see how the drivers are going to cope on those conditions. The track is not yet wet. The surface is not yet wet for the slick tires to have problems, but yeah, the rain is slowly but surely intensifying. That is for sure. And Waterade's mistake probably was the well, that was probably the reason Waterade made a mistake on that left, right, first. Oceanic Class still within DRS, but he's now 7 tenths behind the field. He's losing a bit of a time at the moment to ahead of him. As they're going to drop out of it at the moment. He's dropping out of a DRS range. As DRS is disabled, that's going to be interesting. Jackmaster Flash already pitting for intermediate tires. He comes out on intermediates. Is this going to benefit him in the long run? We will have to wait and see how others are going to react to this. This should be interesting. What are front runners gonna do? Are they gonna pit? And they are pitting. Pit in the field pits. Oceanic Cloth pits. Zirconium pits. Jack pits. Tom Cox pits. Jesus. Also does Frosty, Kirito, WOR Andrew. Gunners is also in the pits. Sky Scott's in the pits. CRS Rossi. A bit too far away, but we will have to wait and see. As Field is in the front still after those switch to intermediate tires. Yeah, I mean at this point when DRS is disabled, it is a no-brainer to switch to intermediate compound tires. Time will tell if these conditions get worse, if the track surface gets wetter, and people are going to struggle on those intermediate tires in the further stages. Yeah, basically everyone I believe is going to pit, as Waterade is going to pit as well for the fresh set of tires. And I believe Jeff Master Flash will take at least one position from Waterade and probably Soviet Corgan. It is depending where Soviet Corgan is. He's on the pit exit. Corgan rejoins ahead of Jack Master Flash, so Jack Master Flash gets one position from the undercut or to intermediate tires, as Mr. Frost I believe has overtaken Kirito. Oh, they're actually fighting for that 6th position because Kirito takes it back from Mr. Frosty right there. We're not gonna have DRS during this rainy period, therefore I think the cars will struggle to overtake on this track. They will have to solely use the battery to do so. And as things stand, after 15 laps, Spittenfield still in the lead after 15 laps of this Miami race. Oceanic Law, P2, Jack P3, Zirconium, Tom Cox, RSF1 Kirito, Mr. Frosty, Gunners, who I believe snatched the position from WR Andrew, who is struggling a little bit on those second and third corners. Losing a bit of a time to gunners there. Scott P10, CRS Rossi P11 after having a drive-through penalty for jumping the start and a lot of other incidents that he was involved in. Corrigan P12, Japmaster Flash in P13 in grade at the moment is 14 and last. But yeah, at this moment, this moment you can just see the drivers who are gonna pull away or just gonna struggle massively in these conditions. It is a straight circuit as well, quite a tight spacing, I guess. Is that the right word? Yeah. Can easily make a mistake on the traction. If it happens, that can happen to anyone, even if you are a rookie or the guy who does this for at least 10 years. As we see Japmaster Flash take the position from Sovi Corrigan, and he's going to inherit that 12th position, and he is now 12.7 seconds behind CRS Rossi in the Ferrari, who is alone at this point in time, as I believe Oceanic Cloud has gained a bit of a time to pit in the field. He was losing a little bit, but now he is gaining it just a little bit as pit in the field goes a bit off the track. Oceanic Cloud could utilize this opportunity. He has 20% battery to use, possibly do something about it. Pit in the field though has 62%, but that might not matter if Oceanic Cloud makes an overtake there, but he's too far to do such thing at the moment. But he is closing in on him. He is 2.5 tenths, around 2.5 tenths behind him through this Mickey Mouse section, as I have seen the call it, daily YouTuber. But yeah, Oceanic Cloud is going to try and give everything to get the position away from the Alpine, as he is weaving a little bit, probably getting the temperatures into the tires, who knows. But yeah, he has pulled away a bit from Oceanic Cloud on the crate, although in the corners he seems to be struggling a little bit, as Oceanic Cloud is gained 10 through those final 3 corners. So yeah, different conditions, but still the lead, fight for the lead is still there. That's what we like to see in WOR, a close fight for the top position in the race. The top position, for potential top positions in the championship. As Pittenfield struggles onto that corner, Oceanic Cloud is on his rear. He's going to press the battery. He's going to use his battery. Also, Pittenfield uses his battery. The Oceanic Cloud might actually go for it. Yet he's going to have no battery by the end of this corner, by the end of the straight. Is he going to make a move? No, but there is a contact. There is a bit of a contact between the front runners in the Alpine and McLaren respectively, but Alpine still keeping that top position from the McLaren of Oceanic Cloud. He's gonna try again. He struggled a bit too much on the traction, a bit too much for the car. You know what I mean. But yeah, he lost that time because of that traction issue there. Yeah, Pittenfield takes it cautiously through this section. Struggled a little bit. Wolf is gaining on him. Let's see if there are any other potential overtakes available for us to see. Actually, yeah, so the Corrigan Japmaster Flash still fighting for that P12. Corrigan is still keeping the second within Japmaster Flash. There's no DRS available during these intermediate conditions, wet conditions, but yeah, so the Corrigan is still gonna pressurize this tier 11 veteran Shaft Master Flash for that potential position as he has loads of battery. He might actually go for it. Switches to the inside. Shaft Master Flash is going to have the outside. Who's going to outbreak who? Flash is ahead as we have a retirement. It's WOR Andrew who has retired from the session. Massive disappointment from the Scottish Supernova in the Ferrari as he seemed to be crashed at this long turn 4. I'm not sure if that's even a turn, but this long right-hander. Massive disappointment for the Ferrari driver from Scotland as the safety car is deployed as a result. I believe CRS Rossi is not even in the session. He is ghost on our screens. But yeah, this is going to be a safety car. Therefore, yeah, as we see Oceanic Cloth going into the pits for potentially another set of intermediate tires. Let's find out if this is true. No, it's the wet tires. Oceanic Cloth has gone to the wet tires. So he might actually take a gamble with this. In case he believes the conditions are going to get worse. He might actually get the position from pit in the field. He might actually take the lead. As we see Sovi Kurgan, I believe, retiring from the session. He also crashed! He has also crashed on the straight after the twisty second sector section. The entry, actually not the entry, the exit of the corner, he crashed into the wall on the inside. As that's the third casualty of those mixed condition race, wet condition race at the moment. But yeah, this should be interesting indeed. Pit in the field, 19 laps. He has been in the lead of this race in his quest to take the second straight victory in this season in Tier 11. Followed by Jack in P2 in the Red Bull, followed by Z Zirconium in P3, Tom Cox in P4, Oceanic Cloth, who is gambling on the wet compound tires. Gunners is P6, Carito P7, Mr. Frosty P8, Sky Scots P9, CRS Rossi P10, Chef Master Flash P11, and Waterade, the last running car in this race so far. As we see Tom Cox going to the pits as well, the Alpine second driver. I don't want to call him second driver, but the Alpine car, number 66, Tom Cox 2002, is also switching to wet compound tires. Both Oceanic Cloth and Tom Cox 2002 believe that the conditions are good enough for the wets. If that's the case, they might actually benefit massively from this. As we saw CRS Rossi, I believe, also go to the wet compound tires. Boy oh boy, that definitely adds some intrigue as to who's going to win this race for sure. The intermediates could last till the end of the race. There are 9 laps to go, I believe. I mean 10 if you count this one. But it will be interesting to see if the gamble by likes of Oceanic Cloth, Tom Cox 2002 and CRS Rossi pay off, or essentially that will be a mistake for them. It will remain to be seen. It's going to be Time will tell, time will tell what's gonna happen for this one. Sky Scots, I believe, has started this 5-second penalty. Therefore, he should be breathing easily for now. He should not be worried about keeping that 5-second penalty anymore in this race. Just gonna reject a little quickly. As I believe we have a safety car in this lap, and there is a collision! Gunners runs into close, and he retires. Gunners is out of this race. And Pin in the field has crashed into the wall. Therefore, Jack is going to inherit the lead of this race. Zirconium is going to try to snatch the P2 from him. Oceanic Cloth is also close behind him. Oceanic Cloth takes the third position. Jack goes completely wide. Zirconium takes the lead of this race. Chaotic restart at the moment we're having. As Pin and Field has dropped behind Jack. Now it's Kirito. Goes to P4 on the inside. Yes, he touches that P4. Pin and Field, but he has damage. He definitely has damage. Pin and Field. Oh my goodness. 20 laps of leading this race. One mistake and it's gonna go down the drain for him. At this point, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable. These are unbelievable scenes we've just witnessed in the restart on those conditions, as you can see, as Watery just snatched P8 from CRS Rossi, as they're actually fighting back and forth for the positions, and Rossi regaining it. But yeah, what a restart it has been. Gunners running into Oceanic Cloud, therefore retiring as a result. Suspension damage. Pit in the field with a mistake and the wall crash, which therefore losing his front wing. Kind of interesting to see if he's going to stay out or is he going to go to the pits. Yes, going to go to the pits. He's not going to. He chooses not to stretch this out on the broken front wing. As we see Jack and Oceanic Cloth fighting for P2 as Jack snatched that position away from him. Kirito is also closing in on Oceanic Cloth. He is quite close. He is on the inside for that left-hander. Is he gonna take it? Yes, he will. Oceanic Cloth drops to P4. Was P2. Now he drops to P4. As Zirconium pulls away from Jack. If you remember Austria, the first ever race, these two were fighting for the lead for the win of the race, with Zirconium taking the bragging rights in that race and taking that early lead of the championship. As a result, I believe Mr. Frost is quite close to, and also Water to Sky Scots in P5. It is definitely interesting scenes unfolding in this race as Water tries to get Mr. Frost on the outside of that tight section, but there was no space for him to execute that. It is this restart definitely turned this thing around for sure. And as the thing stands, Zirconium in the lead, Jack P2, Kirito P3, Oceanic Claw, Sky Scots, Mr. Frosty, Water CRS Rossi, Jack Master Flash, Pit in the field, who was leading the most of the race, now he's in the last points position, and Tom Cox in P11 as the last running car in this race, as he's gonna go to the pits probably to switch to intermediate tires. Probably realize that The wets are not gonna work for him, and he's gonna switch to intermediates, as you can see, and this will mean that for now he will stay in that P11 position. As we see Jeff-Master Flash fight CRS Rossi for P8. He's on the outside. Rossi takes the inside. They're side by side before the corner. Who's gonna take a Jeff-Master Flash? Out breaks Rossi and takes P8. Seems like those wet tires are not gonna work on the cars of Oceanic Cloth and CRS Rossi. As you can see, Jeff-Master Flash just breezing past the Ferrari and taking that P8 position as a result. As we see Waterade, who is close to Mr. Frosty but lost time. He is losing time to Frosty on that straight. Close through there, but it looks like Frosty's gonna get a better traction off that corner. Therefore, keep himself safe from him. As we see Jack gaining a few tenths on Zirconium. Zirconium had a little bit of a problem probably in the first sector. Jack is definitely gonna try and pressurize him into another mistake if he can. Therefore, but on the other side of the track, Waterade is trying to get that 6th position from Mr. Frosty. He's very desperate to get it as he pushes the throttle so much to try and get that position from him. But yeah, he's gonna lose on the straights to Mr. Frosty. For now at least, he won't be able to make an attack on him. As Jack has actually lost time to Zirconium through the risky section of the second sector. Losing out a bit, and yeah, that's pretty much that. Yeah, we'll go back to Waterade, who is within a second to Mr. Frosty at the moment. We'll definitely try and do something about it, but that remains to be seen. Mr. Frosty seems to be better on the straight than the corner exits, but Waterade will probably use all of his talent to try and pressurize him into a mistake. As he's actually very close to him. He's now using battery. Will he get it? Nope, not quite. He's too far to try and make something out of it. But he's gonna try to take the inside. Mr. Frosty had a bit of a poor entry to the corner. And Waterade is gonna take that P6 position from Mr. Frosty. But Mr. Frosty is gonna fight back. He has a bit more battery than Waterade at the moment, but he is gaining on him. Mr. Frosty is actually gaining on him straights. As Waterade shuts the door on the outside for him, places the car nicely to defend from the Mercedes driver in P7. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, about the wet runners, yeah, that's definitely, that gamble most likely didn't pay off for likes of Oceanic Cloth and Rossi and Tom Fox, who after 1 or 2 laps of running the wet tires decided to go back to intermediate as a result. As Jack is back within a second to Zirconium. He's hugging those curves quite tightly, as Tom Cox 2002 has received a 3-second time penalty for track limit violations. CRS Rossi, I believe, has also done that. As we have a yellow flag and a safety car. A safety car with 5 laps to go. believe Tom Cox has made a mistake somewhere. And he now has a drive-through penalty for speeding on the safety car. I mean, it wouldn't matter anyway because of his position, but yeah, this race has just gone from bad to worse to absolute catastrophe for the Alpine driver Tom Cox 2002, and he chooses to retire from the race as a result. Calls it early, calls it quits, and therefore his race is over. But yeah, safety car with 4 laps to go. Definitely this should be a juicy last few laps of this race. As you can see, your current field at the moment. Let's actually check the positions gained and position changes. As Zirconium gained 3 places after 27 laps, Jack gained 7. Kirito gained 2, Oceanic Cloth lost 2, Scott and Waterade gained 8 positions, Mr. Frosty 3 positions gained, Jack Master Flash 2 positions lost, CRS Rossi 6 positions, and Disney Field very unfortunately has lost 9 positions from his restart mistake, as we see Ross pitting for a new wing and wet compound tires. And that will drop into the very back of the grid, as I do believe safety car is going to be in this lap because it doesn't run. The last lap the safety car can be in this game is with 3 laps to go to allow the last 2 laps for the cars to fight for the positions. And as you can see, the pit stops, the Zirconium Jack, the only ones with a 1-stop strategy. Kirito made 3 stops, 2 stops from Oceanic Cloth, Sky Scots with 3, Waterade 2 stops, 3 stops for Mr. Frosty, Jackmaster Flash with 2, Pit in the Field with 2, and 5 pit stops for Rossi. 4 pit stops from Tom Cox, the Gunners with 1, Slowly Corrigan with 2, WOR and 2, F1 with 1 stop, and Logan Miller, I believe, retiring at the very start of the race, or the very early part of it. But the safety car is gonna be in this lap. Final restart of this Miami Grand Prix, as Jack lost control and he crashed into the wall and he is retiring. He was in the contention for the potential win, but he's now in the wall and he's gonna leave the session as a result and retire. As the restart, is it gonna commence? Yes, it will. Zirconium pulls away. Kirito P2, Oceanic Cloth P3. As Kirito on the outside, is he gonna take it from Zirconium? Yes, he does. But he has 3-second penalty. Bear in mind, he has 3-second penalty because of the track limits. Therefore, Zirconium is an effective race leader, but he makes a mistake. Zirconium, he runs on the curb, he runs on the wet curb, but keeps the position, but loses time to Kirito. It is crucial for Zirconium to stay within the 3-second gap if he wants to get the race W. As Pit in the Field slices through the gonna try and slice through the field as he passes Mr. Frosty for P6. Oceanic Cloth is quite close to Zirconium. He's using his battery, so does Zirconium. Oceanic Cloth is closing in on Zirconium. He's gonna take the outside. Is he gonna take? There's an incident between these two. And the Zirconium has no front wing. Oceanic Cloth, I believe, also has damage. He also has damage. Both of the drivers have damage. And with this incident,
This surely will give Kirito a room to breathe for the final lap of this race. This race is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. This race is actually crazy. As Bittenfield has passed Sky Scott for P5, he's going to try and get those podium positions. At least some sort of a consolidation he's searching for at the moment with the final lap to go as Ursula Kirito crosses the finish line for the final lap. Oceanic Cloth is still within those 3 seconds of Kirito. Yes, it is 3 seconds. But he has that wing damage and he's gonna struggle. He's gonna struggle to stay within those 3 seconds as he's already dropping more than 3 seconds behind the lead car of Kirito. Water rate P4 pit in the field. He's gonna try and probably snatch that position away. I'm butchering words, my bad. And try and maybe get the position off of him. He is closing in on for sure. Using his battery, takes the outside line. Water Raid on the inside, side by side. Who's gonna get this position? Water Raid still ahead, but no, Bittenfield is gonna take the inside, but yes, and he eventually takes the position. As a result, P4. As Kirito is on the second to last straight on the final lap of this race. With Oceanic Cloth trying to close within those 3 seconds. He is gaining though, he's using his battery, is he gonna make it though? As Kirito is approaching the final 2 corners very gingerly. On empty battery almost. Kirito is gonna take a checker flat and take the first place, but Oceanic Cloth is gonna win this race as a result because of Kirito's penalty. And Oceanic Cloth is gonna take his first win of the season because of Kirito's penalty. I said the wet tires were a gamble. It most likely would not have worked out with like 6 laps to go, but this guy never gave up, and as a result, he, despite the damage, despite the collision with zirconium, he managed to get within those 2-3 seconds of Kirito and essentially take that race win from his clutches. There you go, Oceanic Cloth, first win of the season in Tier 11, and puts himself in the front running positions of the Drivers' Championship, and also helps McLaren with the Teams' Championship in Tier 11. But yeah, this was an eventful race for sure. Congrats to these 3 drivers on the podium. Kirito in P2, Zirconium in P3, and the race winner, Oceanic Cloth. As you can see in the race standings, Oceanic Cloth wins, Kirito P2, Zirconium P3. Pit in the field, recovers to P4, 2/10 shy of 3rd place. Very, very unfortunate race for him. Water Ray P5, Sky Scott P6, Rossi P7, Mr. Frost P8, Chef Master Flash P9, Jack the final finishing position or classified position. We lost Tom Cox, Gunners, Sophie Corrigan, WR Andrew, and Rogue Mender in this race. But yeah, very eventful race, mixed conditions. Unlikely driver got the win in the end. And yeah, congratulations once again to Oceanic Cloth on winning the Miami Grand Prix. As that is going to be it for today. Make sure to follow World Online Racing F1 on Switch, YouTube. Join the Discord server. What else is there? Twitter, all the social platforms you can find World Online Racing on. Go and follow, join, subscribe. And also, if you wish, follow me, Marchmeister, on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find me in the socials. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this amazing race, and we will see you next week in, I believe, Australia. So yeah, take care everyone and have a good evening. Good night.